Lovely. No pressure. Well,
None at all.
I'm Margery Peddie, as Tim said, and I'm an aromatherapist. This, and then a bit about me before we start. I'm new to the aromatherapy game and massage. I've recently qualified. I say recently because I've realised that people have been doing it for such a long time. I've been doing it for about 2 years. My change to it came really after the lockdown. During the lockdown, I felt that things weren't right. I'd been working in the corporate world, loved it, hated it. I did marketing, comms. A lot of the times it was great, but I never really felt that it was me. And wasn't ever sure what to do. I was one of those that struggled, was never sure where I belong, what I should be doing, and I just chucked along. And I think it was when my father became ill that I started to think that I wish I could do more to help him as he sort of progressed through that illness. And then he passed away. He passed away in about 2009. He was in St Joseph's Hospice in Hackney. I thought he had wonderful care. I loved the hospice, and I had made a mental note that I wanted to do something with them, but I wasn't sure what I could do. I wanted it to be something hands-on that was, that could help people directly. And I parked it and carried on with my life. And my mother, by the time my mum passed away in 2019, she was a lovely lady, and again I just felt useless, not able to help. And then we went into lockdown, and really sorry. I started to reflect on how little I felt I could do for her, and wanted to do something that was more meaningful, directly working with people. But I didn't want to be a nurse, but I knew I wanted to do something. And someone said, well, you like aromatherapy, why don't you do something along that line and maybe work your way that way, helping people that way. So I thought I'd do that. And then I ended up finding out that you can't do aromatherapy without the massage. And I thought, well, I'd never had a massage before, and that was like 2 years ago. Never had a massage before, so I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. Qualified, found that I loved it. The first thing I did was run off to St Joseph's and got myself a voluntary position there as a massage therapist. So I'm doing that now Mondays. And then I've continued the journey, qualifying as a aromatherapist. And I think I'm in the right place. So I think that, this is a sort of the start of a journey. And that I hope will lead to somewhere that I think I feel comfortable with. I'm really sorry, I did this when I went to the interview for St Joseph's as well. It was terrible. I didn't think I'd get the job. So I cried throughout the whole thing. But they forgave me and gave me the massage job anyway. So I will continue. So that's my journey to here, and this is where I am now. So I'm quite new to aromatherapy, as I say. So now let's talk about aromatherapy. Okay, and I'll pull myself together. Right, so what I want to focus on today is really about raising awareness about what aromatherapy offers in terms of its benefits. I know people know quite a lot about it, but I also hope to dispel some myths about some of the things I've heard said, maybe give some advice about what kind of things people should buy, and if people want to mix their own oils, that is, and then just share some simple research that I did about essential oils and specifically fibromyalgia. My sister was diagnosed with it. And in about 2020, I think, just after my mother died, and so I've gone on this journey with her, massaging her and looking at how I can help to take care of her better with the use of aromatherapy and essential oils. Right, so just to start about the historical aspects of it. So sorry if you already know this. I know we have at least one other aromatherapist in the room. So aromatherapy, the term was coined by a gentleman called René Maurice Gattifort. I think I've got that right. He's a French gentleman and a chemist, and he worked for his perfumery business. And the story is that he was in his lab doing some experiment with some oils, and spilt some of the oils and burnt himself. And in the kerfuffle, he somehow ended up using lavender on the burn, and that burn, the hand that was where he put the lavender oil healed significantly better than the hand that hadn't received the lavender. So he then, being a chemist, took that as part of his research and then found out that lavender actually has loads of benefits to it. So lavender is one of the oils I'll touch upon, but it's not the only one. And so on the back of that, aromatherapy is about using pure essential oils that are expressed and distilled from aromatic plants and for therapeutic purposes, and that can be all parts of the plants, from the roots, if it's ginger, to the leaves and the flowers, the stems, the bark, if it's resins. So nothing is left wasted. Every part of the plant are used to make essential oils. And I think it's fair to say that we need to talk a little bit about the history of it, because it didn't just start with Mr. Gosport in France. I think many of us know that aromatherapy is a centuries-old game. It goes back to previous centuries where there's texts from Asia, Africa, the Mediterranean areas describing rituals and things that people use to heal themselves, ointments, poultices, healing perfumes, and all kinds of things to lift the mood and so on. So it's an old thing, and it's I think I've read that it's about 3,500 years old. So it's an old therapy, and also, I mean, I don't like to teach people to suck eggs, but we all know that, at least most of us do, that plants played a major role during the bubonic plague in the UK as well. And the old song "Ring a Ring of Roses" is all part of the history of using therapeutic oils in a way to holistically to heal ourselves. And so I've mentioned that there's how we get the oil. So there's three main ways that oils are brought to us. There's steam distillation, cold pressing, and solvent. I can't really talk in any sort of depth about these three processes because I actually haven't seen it happen. I did mean to see a steam distillation on the 18th of October, but I can't make that date. So I can't talk about it in any detail. But it's steam and water to draw the oils out, and then the cold pressing is usually using the skins of the fruits. So it's usually the citruses that are cold pressed. It's using the skins, so lemon skin, grapefruit, lime, and the mandarins and oranges. So they're pressed, and then they're cold pressed, and then the oils are just somehow come out of that process. And then the last one is solvent extraction, and usually solvents are used for the resins, the frankincense, the myrrhs, and I think benazine is another resin as well that's used by steam. So you've got the history of the oils, and now we get to the point how they're distilled, and now we come to how what the oils actually are. Okay, so how do we describe them now that we've got them? Okay, we've distilled them, we've pressed them, and we've drawn them out by solvent, and then we get this little oil that comes out. They're very fragrant, they smell wonderful, at least I think they do. They're volatile, so that means that they evaporate once they are exposed to air, light, and heat, and they're inflammable, so obviously they're easy to catch alight, and they need to be used distilled because there's lots of chemicals in them, and then some of those chemicals are actually harmful, and then they're easily oxidized, which I've mentioned, and then the chemical makeup, which is one of the things that I guess it makes sense that this should be the case. But for me, when I started studying, it was one of the things that made me go, oh God, that makes absolute sense, is that the chemical makeup of the actual oil is affected by the country that it's grown in, the climate, the soil that it's harvested, and it could be the same seed, but it's planted in a different location, and the oil that's produced, the chemically, is different. Okay, so it's important just to remember that, because I'll come on to chemotypes later, and probably where some of the misunderstandings about, I think, essential oils comes from, maybe. Just get the other part of that. Chemical compositions, right? So, as I say, there's lots of minor chemical compounds that make up essential oils. They're quite complex, and I won't be able to pronounce all of the names properly. Okay, I'll just let you know that in advance, but I'll have a go. Okay, so there's compounds like these ones, terpenoids. I think terpenoids. I think these are monoterpenes, and this is one that I have trouble with. Is it sisterquerpenes? And then these are the chemicals that give them their smells and give them their therapeutic value. So lots of aromatherapy oils are good for the emotions, managing the emotions, helping us to feel calmer. Perhaps I should have had some neroli with me earlier. That might have helped me get through the first part. And also, a lot of them are analgesic, which means that they help to manage pain. Or combat pain, antibacterial, so they have lots of wonderful properties in them that we can make use of them for. And then there's been research carried out on the therapeutic values of individual chemical compounds. The most researched oil, without question, is lavender avgostifolia. There's lots and lots of research about the benefits of that oil out there and its uses, and it is quite a superior oil in my opinion, from what I've seen. Right, so this is the part that I find the most, for me, it's the most interesting. I hope you find it interesting too. And I've used a simple one, rosemary, because rosemary has lots of properties. It's touted as something that's good for aches and pains, analgesic. It's said to be good for respiratory, so coughs, expelling mucus from the lungs and so on. And also, I always hear women talk about that use it for their hair. But one of the things that I found is that it depends whether or not it's good for your hair, and how good it is for pain or how good it is for respiratory problem depends on which chemotype we're talking about. So the first chemotype, which is produced in Morocco and Tunisia, the primary purpose of that one is aches and pains, and then secondary is respiratory. And then the camphor, also respiratory, then aches and pain. And then the final chemotype, the verbenone, is the one that's good for skin and hair and nails. So that probably explains, for me anyway, some of the misunderstanding, because you hear it's good for skin, then you read somewhere else and no, it's not good for skin, it's for muscle and aches and pains. But it could be because people are not aware that there's all these chemotypes there that's causing the chemicals to be slightly different, and so the factor that the benefit is slightly different in the chemotype. We're going to do a smell test in a minute, but just before I do, I'll just go over this one. The other thing also is the difference in the species. I guess if people are gardeners, they'll know this, okay? So lavender is the most talked about, in my experience, essential oil. There's three main species, the latifolia, the intermedius, which is called lavandin, but it's still a lavender, and then there's the gostifolia, and I've put some of the chemical makeup there alongside it. But for those that don't know, and I don't want to insult anyone, but I'll just say it, that the gostifolia and the latifolia are the parents, and the intermedius is the child. Okay, so those two in the wild have mated and produced the lavandin or the intermedius, and that's the chemical difference. And the lavandin also has differences in the species beneath that. And then all of these different abilities or different chemicals in these oils change the focus of what they do in terms of therapeutics. And I think that's probably where some of the misunderstandings about what they do or don't do probably comes from. That's just my assessment. Right, before we go on to safety considerations, I would just like to do a smell test, and just thinking about the rosemary, about how important it is to know the chemotypes, because if you want to have a rosemary that's looking after aches and pains, then you need to get it from the right part of the world. Do you want to do that one, the R one? You do that one with the 1R. So you're going to use this one. And that one. So if we do 3, just drop it on the tip, and then I'll do this one, HB1. Try not to touch the tip of the... And there's a reason, obviously, why I didn't do this earlier, because once it oxidizes, it smells different anyway, so it's best to do it live. So if I can just pass this around, and I can actually show you this bottle as well. So if I just have a quick sniff and just pass it around. So this is the one that I got. Just take one, please, and then just have a sniff and pass it around quickly. Thanks. Sorry, I've only got through them. You'll have to share them. You'll have to share them. Oh, sorry, you're not meant to do it that way. There is a way to do it. There is a way to do it. There's this. There is a way to do it. You're supposed to. It's like tasting a wine. There's a way to do it, right? So you're supposed to let it come up slowly.
All right. So take a quick blast that way. Do you inhale at the same time?
You can inhale.
Right. Just checking.
And then if we just pass these here, this is the other oil, and then it's in what I want you to do is see if you can smell the difference. The reason why I've pointed it out is because one of the things I noticed when I bought this one is it doesn't give me any information about what this oil is. There's no information about where this oil is from, what chemotype it is. So I've bought this, in my earlier days, I bought this bottle of rosemary and thought, well, I've got some rosemary, but it doesn't tell me anything about where it's from, the chemotype, so I have no idea what's actually in this bottle, okay? Versus a good, someone who provides...
Origins do you know what countries or origins, is that better than?
If you get a good supplier...
Oh, it's not about where it comes from.
Sorry, yes, it is.
I couldn't read that.
You can't read that. This one's from Morocco, so this is the first chemotype. So this is good for respiratory and aches and pains.
Is that what I've got here?
Yeah, that's
excellent.
No, you've got this one. Oh. The other one's over that side, but this is the.
So you want that one? You want that one there?
So if you just look at that bottle, you have no idea what you're buying. No idea what you're buying. It's just a bottle with no information on. This one's quite good, but if you're going to buy, basically this is what you need. Okay, so it's something that gives you information, so you know what it is, what the chemotypes are. This is Shirley Price. She's available online. These are the ones that the students tend to use. Yeah, Shirley Price online. Yeah. There are others as well. I think the Ashadi is quite good as well. The Ashadi oils are quite good. There's another one over there. There's 2, isn't there? Let me do another one for you, because you see you're interested in it, right? He's interested in it. Let him have another one. Do one of each for him, because he's interested in it. He's interested in it. No, it's not there. It's not. Just put HB, Holland and Barrett on there. And then just put R on this one. Just put R on that one. So he's interested in. Let's do this one.
That's the one that came from our side. Yes.
Right, so I'm going to give you these. You hold on to these, and I'm going to drop one of each of them.
That's the respiratory one, is it?
But yeah, hold on. There's 2 of them. Hold one in each hand. Yeah.
That was
Can
our
I take
first
that one?
one. So
I just brought that.
your second one.
So this is one of the oils, right? This is one of them.
That's so kind.
It's okay.
You've got a lovely talking voice, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And then the other ones disappeared. They're both respiratory. Let me just get the other one, because there's 2 of them. Someone got the other oil, the other bottle of oil. Can I just take that? I just brought that. Careful, because that's got camphor in it. Yeah.
He's a good idea.
And you can't be certain that they haven't put synthetics in there.
Yeah, I've bought that one.
Do you know what I mean? Because they haven't declared anything,
Yeah, no.
so you don't know what's actually in the bottle.
The first one?
The first one's the Holland and Barrett one. When I didn't know and didn't know anything, you just go and buy one. And then when I got on the course, they said, well, no, you need to be looking for information. This one's from Morocco, so this one would be good for.
What's it called?
It's rosemary.
Oh right.
They're the
Doesn't
same.
say
They're the same
another-
oil. They're the same oil,
Yes.
but this one has got proper information on it, so you know exactly
Well,
what
that, no, it's
chemotype.
rosemary, then cineol.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
cineol, but it does. But it does tell you where it's from,
Yes.
and it does. And cineol is the chemotype that's for the right one. Does that make sense? So it did say it on there. Yeah,
generic.
that's right. Yeah.
So you can only order them online, can you?
It's like chamomile.
No, you can. I mean, I don't know where I've always ordered mine online. I've always ordered online, to be fair, because I wouldn't know where to go if I had to go to a shop to buy them. To be fair, I don't know where people go other than online. I don't know if did you? Yeah, just not for long. Go
I'm
on.
not even sure what's the rest of my question because
Yeah.
really I've got so many questions about that. One, what's going on? Can it be helped? And well, actually it's me. And I feel like half alive. I'm like going through the world, not really smell the roses or marigolds.
We can talk at the end, but I'm so glad you asked that, because there is. I was reading something. There's actually an organisation that works with people to try and improve people that have lost their sense of smell to smell it. And one of the things that they advise, I remember reading this and being fascinated by it. One of the things they advise is that you smell things that are quite strong on a regular basis. So every day you train. Sorry, come in.
I was just going to say that when people lost their sense of smell after COVID, then they were 5, I think, or was it 3?
That's
And you systematically smelled them to try and
bring it back, bring it back, absolutely. So you could try. It doesn't have to. Apparently, it doesn't have to be essential oils. Essential oils are useful because they're quite strong smelling, right? But you could try something like garlic or onions, but you can apparently train it to come to bring it back to bring your smell sense back. But you have to do it on a regular basis. And I'm quite happy to share the information with you after, because I did read something was shared, and I remember reading it and thinking, my goodness. So definitely it can help improve your senses, the sense of smell. Okay.
Yeah, because I can burn food cooking.
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry, isn't it? If you can't smell burnt cooking, it can be. Yeah. Are we ready to continue, everyone? Okay. So I wanted to, perhaps I should have done this first, but talk about some of the safety considerations regarding essential oils. The contents of some of the oils actually are really quite toxic. I confess, because I was a dabbler, that I have used some oils in probably in a way that I shouldn't have done. And actually rosemary and I think lavendin, I think it's lavendin. One of them has got quite high levels of natural camphor in it. Camphor is a neurotoxic substance. Okay, and there's been cases of people actually dying because they've accidentally ingested it and didn't realise that they poisoned themselves. So we do need to be careful with essential oils. They shouldn't be used diluted. And the proper dilution is to dilute it. We as aromatherapists tend to dilute it with fixed oils, the fatty oils, and I will come on to that later. But the rule is that you need to dilute the essential oil with something else, and the dilution should be 1 to 3% essential oil, and the rest of it would be something else. Okay, so you can do you can do fatty oils as a mix, or you can use lotions or butters. Okay, to drop your essential oils in and mix it so it's diluted. And the last thing as well is about contraindications. I actually have a nephew who's epileptic, and so I have to be careful about using rosemary around him, because it could trigger an epileptic fit. And rosemary in particular, I think peppermint. There's a couple of others that we need to be careful of them. And some people that have some of the oils are known to be hypertensives. Rosemary, I think, is one of those as well, actually. So it means that they could potentially raise the blood pressure. I mean, again, I don't know how these have been tested, but this is information that's been shared to me on the course that I'm doing now. Okay, so just a few things to think about. And then the other considerations are things like phototoxicity. So some of the oils causes us to become to react with the sunlight, and it tends to be the citruses, actually, the lemons. I don't know if lemon's a specific one, but it's oranges, mandarins, grapefruit. That group of family, they're called the Ritaceae family. A lot of those ones are phototoxic. I can tell you exactly which ones, but that's something to be aware of, because if you are going to use them, they're lovely to use in the summer, but then if you go out in the sun after using them, you've exposed yourself and it causes pigmentation of the skin. Okay, and then we've got here, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's take that back. And then we've got, as I say, epilepsy. So the ones to avoid are sweet fennel, spiked lavender, rosemary, peppermint, and possibly eucalyptus as well, which is quite a few. And then homeopathy. If anyone's using homeopathic medicines, it's important to be careful. The person who created homeopathy, Henneman, I think his name is, I think I pronounced that correctly, has advised that any oils with camphor in it are the ones to avoid if you're doing homeopathy, and I think peppermint as well, which is on there. So just a word of caution if you're going to do some mixing at home. And as I said earlier, hypertension, so people with high blood pressure, rosemary, hyssop. Not used hyssop before, thyme I have used, and I think that must be clary sage rather than just sage. And of course, lastly, to mention drug interventions as well. Obviously, if you're taking medication and you do go along to see an aromatherapist, a good aromatherapist would do a thorough assessment with you, a health check, to find out if there are any underlying conditions, and in specifically if you're taking medications. I love learning. I actually go with my sister to the, it's awkward because I don't want to say that I'm fortunate, because it's sort of in close proximity with her, but I do get to go and speak to a lot of consultants, and I double check the oils and the chemical makeup of them to make sure that they are safe for her to use. She's got fibromyalgia, but she's also got multiple myeloma, which is a blood cancer. But it's funny enough, it's the fibromyalgia that causes her the most problems, because that's the one that causes the pain. So yeah, just to be aware of that. And methods of application. So just how do we use it? So good old-fashioned hot water, drop the peppermint in the bowl and stick the head over. I remember doing this as a child. And eucalyptus, all the ones that are good for respiratory. So the eucalyptus is the tea tree oils, and peppermint, of course, and maybe lemon and lime, although they may leave, but not too hot, because otherwise it loses the chemicals that are destroyed. So not too hot, but that is a way that people can use it. And also these days, aromatherapists are taught to make inhalers, personal inhalers. I have got some with me, and we can have a play about at the end if some of you want to take away an inhaler with you, and we can do that after I've spoken to you, because I'm a good aromatherapist and I'm not just going to hand it out. I need to know what's going on with you, that it's safe to give it to you, and then you can go off with it safely. Okay, so inhalation. And then inhaler sticks, which I've mentioned, I'm a little ahead of myself. And then, of course, the main way that aromatherapists apply essential oils to people is through massage. And the oils are absorbed into the skin. And then the body gets the therapeutic benefits from the chemicals within the oils. I did look at some research, and I think I might come to it later, that actually showed that inhalation was a more effective way of I don't want to say inject, of receiving the benefits of the aromatherapy oil. I think if my memory's right, I think you get 70% infusion versus 10%. I think if you massage someone, so only 10% of that oil is absorbed through the skin, whereas if you inhale it, you get 70% of that oil straight into the bloodstream. Very important, because for me to say this, because some of the research that I'm going to talk about later, people have used a whole list of oils, okay, and I'm affiliated with the International Federation of Aromatherapists, and the recommendations is that we only use a maximum of 3 oils, okay, And I guess that's about the amount of chemicals, and some of them conflicting with each other. So it's about managing that risk. So it's okay to use one, okay, but we do say no more than 3 for that reason, okay.
So, given that obviously also very careful about your skin, surely, because your skin's made up with like different chemicals, because you've got chemicals on your body, surely.
Sorry, I didn't catch. There was a car going past. If you just
So your
repeat.
skin,
Yeah.
you've got to be very careful about the person's skin as well, surely. Applying
The diluted oils to skin. Yeah.
Surely somebody's skin can have a reaction to those oils as well.
Yes.
Sorry.
Absolutely right, and I'm glad you again that you raised that point, because if someone comes to me for a massage, I usually do for aromatherapy, I always ask them, if it's an hour's massage, I ask them to get there 10 minutes earlier, and I do a test. I do a skin test for the oils that I'm going to use on them, the exact oils that I'm going to use. I usually do 6, so that I've got 2 treatments in case they don't like the smell of the first one that I put up. So I have 3 oils and then 3 oils, and I get them to smell it. If they think, oh my God, I can't wear that, then I can have another 3 that I can do, but I test them, and I have got the testers here, and that's why, again, I didn't want to just hand out the oils, because I have got the little containers that I can put the tests in, and if anyone wants to take anything away, we can do a little test. It's usually the wrists, the elbows and behind the ears, and if there's a reaction, redness, itching, then that oil's not for you. I have to say, I think in all the time I've been doing it, which isn't long, I mean it's 2 years, I've had 1 person react to fennel. So usually people are quite resilient to the oils. The chemicals are quite small in them, and the test is 1 drop into 5 mils, so it's a really diluted amount of oil. Okay, but thank you for asking. I think that was a good point. And the last area that we use, way that we receive aromatherapy is by diffusion. Okay, so we all know those ones, the fusion sticks. I've got so many of these at home, it's probably not safe. Every room's got about 10 of them in there, and I use the I just love the smells, and I use these quite a lot. I don't know if it's if you are like me and you use diffusers, I use the ones that have the mists out. I read somewhere, I can't remember, in the myriad of books that I'm reading, that you should do 30 minutes at a time, because if you go for more than 30 minutes, apparently it becomes stressful. So you do 30 minutes, take a break from it, get some proper fresh air in, and then maybe if you want to do 30 minutes later, and maybe change it, because after 30 minutes I think the oils probably come a bit rancid anyway because of the heating. But that's how I do it at home, and I don't know whether it improves the air or not. I've not tested it yet. It is something that I'm interested in, because I do use an awful lot of diffusers. So I will at some point be looking at whether or not there's any efficacy and whether it not improves the air or not. I know it makes it smell nice, but I don't know if it makes it better. So those are different things. But that's the main ways that we consume essential oils. And the health benefits and therapeutic uses, hopefully. But before we do that, let's start with some myths about essential oils. I'll just put them all up and you can see them. I haven't personally seen all of these, but some of my aromatherapy colleagues have assured me that they've had people come and say these things to them. I have had people think that they can cook with them. You definitely can't use it neat on skin, and I confess I have in the past done that before I qualified. So so essential oils are if someone says that to you, that they're certified therapeutic grade, that is really just a marketing ploy, because they're supposed to be pure oils anyway, so I'm not quite sure what certified therapeutic grade is. Some oils that are recommended by the International Federation of Aromatherapists are really good, because they actually do have the tests and they have their certificates online. So those ones are, for me, more trustworthy than those that you buy and there's no information about whether or not they're pure or not. But these are the things that people say about essential oils, and none of these things are true. These are all myths. You can. I mean, there are, I guess, different schools of thought for babies. I was told that you can use essential oils on babies over the age of 3 months. I don't know if you've heard that, Jill. Yeah, in a small amount. So it'd be a very small amount. Yeah. But yeah, so it's a really small amount. So you can use them, and I think it should be only limited to the lavenders, and the citruses. Yeah, the really gentle oils. Definitely no resins.
Excuse me, I'm having trouble reading this. Do you have like a handout or?
I don't have a handout, but I'm happy to. Do you want me to? Would you prefer me to?
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's good.
There's a seat here.
Yeah.
Are you okay now?
Yeah.
Did you want me to read them out, or are you happy for me? I mean, I could share this on the.
It's okay. I can now see.
So frankincense can cure cancer. That's not true. Lemon oil in water is a good way to get vitamin C. No, just have a piece of fruit, maybe an orange itself, a proper orange. The quickest way to absorb oil is to put it on the soles of the feet. I don't understand why that would be true, but it's not true. And there's also claims that it's safe to use Clarisel will improve your eyesight. You can use essential oils all the time. It's not advisable because you can become sensitized to them if you use them too much or use the same ones all the time. And that's why there's so many that's recommended for therapists, because there's so many oils that can do the same thing. And that's about helping those that use them have variety. Because I tend to, as a therapist, you have your go-to, right? So I try not to do that because there's a chance that you get you get sensitive to that. And it's the same for users as well. That you can cook with essential oil, not true. You can put essential oils in water and other drinks, not true. You can on babies, the very like lavender, 1 drop, half a drop, as Chris said. And over 3 months, it's not a detox. It can't be used for adding food. It really should not be consumed, and it can be used neat on the skin. No, it cannot. There is an exception. And that exception is lavender agostifolius, which is the one that was used by Gosford in his experiments. But it can only be used if it's a small burn. You've burnt your finger on the stove. You still need to run it under water for 20 minutes to cool it down. Okay, you still need to follow good practice in terms of first aid. And then after you've cooled it down, you've done the right things, you can put a bit of lavender, neat agostifolia, only agostifolia on it and no other. But that's the only exception. Everything else has to be diluted. And also this thing that you can use it on female products really shouldn't, because that's actually internalizing it. Okay, so that's some of the myths. And then we come on to some of the advantages, the benefits of aromatherapy. So it definitely helps with aches and pain. There's no question about that. A lot of the people that I see actually come because they've got a pain of something in some way. Lots of backaches, lots of piriformis problems like runners and sore calves and things. And people, I've got a couple of people that have got the osteoarthritis. My sister has the fibromyalgia, so I'm beginning to become a centre for those. That people are following her to me as well. Some of the oils that are good for pain and inflammation are things like Roman chamomile, cinnamon leaf, bergamot, lemon, coriander, sweet fennel, jasmine, as well as the rosemaries, the thymes, the lavenders. Okay, there are others out there that we can use because we do tend to go to the same ones all the time. There's a whole host that we can. And in terms of anti-inflammatory, ylang ylang, I don't know if people have heard of ylang ylang, sweet orange, cypress, palmarosa and cardamom as well. Okay, so headaches. I haven't had a lot of people that claim that they suffer from migraines and headaches, so I haven't really had a chance to test this one. But my understanding from what I've been taught is that the ones that help with headaches are again Roman chamomile, eucalyptus, citrodora, something called the curry plant. I don't know if most people, I couldn't pronounce the Latin name, but it's the curry plant, and lavender intermedius and latifolia and melissa. Okay, so the different varieties of lavender being shown to help with different types of conditions. Okay, and one of my favourites, improve circulation. I've got an interesting case study for this one, where people usually, I'd see some the pitted skin or cellulite, and that would be an indication for me that there may be circulatory challenges, right? So that's one of the things that I would look at is the way the skin looks. So then we know that we could try to help by improving the circulation. The massage itself helps, okay, but then you pick the right oils to go along with that. And I had a neighbour come, and she had a pain in her shoulder. And so I said, I asked her, have you been to see the physio? Yes, the physio says it would help. So she'd come along for massage, did the consultation, and we done about 3 or 4 sessions. And then on the 4th session, she came and she said, the cramps have stopped. And I said, well, what cramps? And she said, yes, I used to have really bad cramps in my leg, and it used to get so bad I used to jump up out of my bed at night and have to try and walk it off. It would wake me out of my sleep. And she said it's been transformative. And I said, but I didn't know you were having this condition because you hadn't mentioned it to me. And she said, no. She said, I was more concerned about my shoulder because that's painful. And then she said, and then I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't sure if it had actually gone. And so I was trying to catch myself out by doing the things that usually cause a cramp to see if it would happen. I said, well, how did you do that? And I said, when would you usually get a cramp? And she said, well, if I went to the oven and I bent down to pick up to get the meat out, then I'd get a cramp. Or if I bent down to put my shoes on, I'd get a cramp. So she said I would go to the oven and then suddenly bend down to try and catch myself out to see if this cramp's going to come, or I'm going to say, right, I'm going to put my shoes on, and I'd do it suddenly to see if I'm catching the muscle out. So she was trying to catch herself out, and I couldn't stop. I mean, it was a wonderful story because I felt like a healer, but it just made me laugh because I could just envision her trying all these moves to try and see if this cramp was going to come back, and it never did. So that was my first sense of, and she said it was life. For her, it was transformative because she was able to get a good night's sleep without having. She said she used to be fearful about going to bed, and having the cramps not come anymore meant that she got a good night's sleep, and they've never returned. So that was one of my first successes in terms of massage and aromatherapy, and that was actually, I think, the problem in this instance was her calves were like really solid when I massaged her. So I wasn't surprised that there was some sort of build-up or really mass tissue there, and I think she had circulatory issues as well. I did send her to the doctors as well, by the way. But yeah, so improved circulation, and the oils that can help with that are sweet marjoram, black pepper, rosemary comes up quite a lot, thyme, ginger, cinnamon leaf. And those are some of the ones that can help with circulation, and also for things like cellulite. So if the circulation appears to be a mass of like a lemon peel around the skin, then actually it's grapefruit that's touted as the one that's supposed to help with that. So it might be worth a try if you're trying to deal with that. Emotional well-being. All of the oils, I've got 78 oils I'm supposed to learn for this another course that I'm doing, and every single one of those courses help with mood enhancement, anxiety reduction and mental clarity, and which one we choose depends on what else we're trying to treat as well. Okay, so all of the oils have benefits or give benefits for lifting the mood. Okay, and I think it's a good time to stop and test this. So one of the ones that's supposed to be really uplifting, actually I won't tell you, actually I'll do it and then we'll see. Okay, so I'll just do another quick test if that's okay. Just drop it on all the ones that says LA. So it's just one. Just give them out to people. I wasn't drop them. Just give them to people.
Okay.
Oops, wasting it. Just give them out. Just give them out because it's just the one. Yeah, just one. You can come and take them if you want. I mean, you don't have to wait for. Because sometimes it's a bit slow to get the oils out. So lovely. You might recognise it if you're buff. Are you guessing? If you're a buff, you might recognise it. See what you think. What is that? Do you recognise it? Do you recognise it? So, anyone else coming to?
You suspected.
Did you want to go?
You've got to guess.
Oh.
Does anyone recognise it? Does anyone recognise it?
Oh. Is it?
Not eucalyptus.
It's not.
It's very familiar.
No, it's not.
It's a very familiar smell, but I just can't think of the
Have you two got?
It's the same one, is it?
No, it's a different one. It's a different one.
Oh, it's a different one.
Yeah. It's a different.
Different one from my one, or a different one from
No, you've all got the same one.
Yeah.
You've all got the same one. Yeah. Say that one. There's quite a lot on there.
So I'm told.
This is neroli. Okay, it's neroli. Okay, it's neroli. So neroli is it comes from the orange family. Okay, so the sweet orange, I think it is, and I think it's sweet orange because there's bitter orange and then there's sweet orange. Okay, and the orange blossom is one of the most used. Every part of that plant is used. Right, you get petitgrain from it. You get sweet orange. You get neroli. Okay, but this is part of the orange blossom family. Okay, and it's called neroli.
I went my first ever job because my mum trained as an aromatherapist.
Oh, is she? Yeah.
Tim's daughter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She was practicing, and then she actually helped me find a job with somebody who had a shop in Potter's Bar called Substance.
Yeah.
And we used to bottle large containers of aromatherapy.
Oh, wow. So do you remember that smell? Do you remember it's sort of there? Is that
I remember us bottling.
Yeah.
Because it's so
Yeah, it is uplifting.
So
It's one of the
It is an actually
uplifting plant. Yeah. So this is my go-to. So if someone comes to me and I say to them, "How are you? What's going on?" and they're upset. Something's happened. This is the oil that I will usually put in the diffuser and invariably use in their treatment. Okay, because it's very uplifting. And it's a research. There's a lot of research about the advantage. I haven't shared it because it's so expensive. I thought I had to keep it here. It's an expensive oil, but it is an uplifting oil as well. It's part of the orange blossom family. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but the orange blossom plant produces about 4 oils: neroli, orange blossom, sweet orange as well, petitgrain, and I think there's one other one. What's the other one? But that one plant, you know, you get. I think neroli is from the flower, and then petitgrain's from something else, and then the whole plant is actually used.
Where does the plant originate from?
I'm going to say China. I don't know for certain, but what I found is that a lot of the plants in the UK originate from China.
The orange blossom. Which one?
Okay, are we ready to move on, guys? Yeah. Now that you're all uplifted and feeling. Do you think it's quite perfumey?
Yeah.
Do you think so? Quite floral. Can I have a sniff? Sorry.
I've just inhaling quite a bit of it. Like just sort of.
It is floral. It is floral. I always think rosemary. Always think for me, rose is the most floral.
It's saying Southeast Asia, specifically southern China and India.
Oh, that was a good guess, right? So yeah, a lot of the plants A lot of the plants that in the UK come from China.
In Florida, along with the Mediterranean coast.
There we go. That's confirmed. Okay, so it's China. Okay. We're ready to move on? Are we ready to move on? Okay, next one. So the science and the evidence. Now, I did a very basic check to see what kind of research was out there, okay? And my focus was looking at fibromyalgia because, as I said before, my sister has the condition, and I kind of desperately want to help her, and then if I help her, then there's others will benefit from it as well. But so there's 4 pieces of research that I found. The first one was a research. This was done by, I think this was a Japanese study, and 42 patients with fibromyalgia, and there's a check that's used that most healthcare clinicians across the world seem to use. There's a sort of uniform way of testing whether or not someone has fibromyalgia and whether the pain levels meet the right standard for these particular tests. A questionnaire was used to understand the participants' experience before and after the test, before the trial rather. And I think I should say as well that from what I read, most people that are diagnosed with fibromyalgia are females. Okay, it seems to be largely women that are affected by, and it's about 2% of the world's population that have fibromyalgia. Just to say a bit about it, it's a neurological condition, or thought to be a neurological condition. It's usually brought on by trauma. That could be physical or psychological trauma, and people have bouts of pain, just bodily pain, and fogginess as well around it. So they have memory loss and this kind of thing. So it's put in with the neurological a part of the neurological diseases or conditions. Sorry, what's that? Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah, fibrofog. Yeah, they call it fibrofog. That's right. Yeah. And so what happened for this particular research was they mixed lavender oil with, I think it was macadamia oil actually, and then they put it on the wrist. They gave it to the participants to take home with them in a jar, in a little container, and they asked them to put it on their wrist and then to inhale it for 10 minutes before they went to bed. And this just doing that for 10 minutes every night, the reports showed that it had a significant impact on pain levels and improved ability to sleep. Okay, so that's what this particular research found. So lavender, inhaling it just on the wrist, helped to reduce pain. I haven't tried it with my sister yet, but I will be trying it with her to see how she gets on with that, because it seems quite harmless and it's a simple one that anyone can try at home. Okay, you mix it, a drop of lavender. I think they used a higher doses of 3%, but you can start with 1%, one drop to 5 ml. Put it on your wrist at night and see how you go. Okay.
And it will probably help you to sleep.
Yes, that's right, because it improves the sleep. So, and do let me know. I'm part of the network now, so you can, if you do have a go at it, you can email me in the Facebook page and let me know how you got on. Okay. And the other one was this other one was geranium oil. 10 patients, I think this was Turkey, this one. 10 patients were singled out, but 5 completed the study. And they had a bit more of a test on this one, and I quite liked it because they took the blood pressure of the people taking part before they had the massage, and they took the blood pressure after. And they also used a test that looked at stress levels in the saliva. So I felt this one was a little bit more scientific, and then also a questionnaire about, a self-questionnaire from the participants to say what their level of pain was and how they were responded. There was 2 groups. One was given the nut oil, and then the macadamia nut oil, and then later the macadamia oil with the pelargonium. Sorry, that should say geranium oil. I forgot to move out the Latin stuff. So that's geranium. And then they flipped it for the other people. They had the lavender first, then just the oil afterwards. Okay. And then this group of people had massage at the hospital. They massaged them from the elbow to the wrist, and then they were given a treatment that they took home and used at home themselves. They applied themselves. They showed them how to put it on, and then they applied it themselves twice a week. And what this one found was, I think because it was more scientific, the stress markers in the saliva hadn't changed. Okay, so what it in fact showed was that the geranium oil didn't do anything about the pain. Okay, but it did help with them feeling better, so they felt less stressed. And the interesting thing about this one, if I remember rightly, was that even after they had the massage, even when people had massage without the essential oils, their blood pressures were all lower. So the massage itself had an impact, and then the essential oil had a secondary impact on top of that. Okay, so this was I quite like this study, and although it didn't, this study, the geranium oil didn't stop pain. Okay, it did improve their ability to sleep. Okay, and reduce their stress, not with the markers, but they felt it in the questionnaire. Okay. And then this is another simple oil that can be used. Okay, you can mix it and try easily at home. Drop one drop into 5 mils and give it a go. Okay, see how you feel. Okay, and then these are the last two were more complicated. This was interesting because this oil was done by a doctor in the States, where he rounded up or recruited 14 women who said that they had severe pain related to fibromyalgia. And what triggered this study was that this doctor had spoken to a patient who said that they were using soap in the bed, and somehow this soap was helping them with their pain. And as a good scientist, this doctor was curious about it and found out that this was quite a common practice, that more than one people were using a bar of soap, and then somehow they were feeling that their pain was, whatever pain they were feeling, was reduced. And then, but being a scientist, he was like, well, we need to look into this a bit more. So what he did was he did some further investigations and found that it was the smell of the soap, the actual aroma of the soaps that was actually helping. And he also looked at some research that showed that with mice, where they used geranium on the mice, and sorry if anyone's triggered by that, okay. They used geranium on the mice, and then they found that the geranium oil was actually in the brains of the mice. So it did find its way there, and it did calm the mice down. And so they've made the correlation that or the assumption that some of these oils do make their way to the brain, and so are having this impact on the brain, calming effect. And so looking at all that research, he decided to come up with it. It's called soap scented oils, but it's actually, there's no soap in it. What he did was, I know it's strange, he's used I think it was about four essential oils. I've got a table at the back that further down that shows it, but there's four or five. I didn't put it there because we only recommend 3 at a time, and I didn't want to sort of confuse people. So, but he's used these essential oils. He's diluted it with castor oil, which is an interesting one because castor oil itself has anti-inflammatory properties.
It has healing properties.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Energy from it.
That's right. But it's not very good for massage. It's very sticky. Can't get very far with it when you're trying to massage with castor oil. And I did make some mistakes in the beginning when I first started massaging, because I know it's really good for anti-inflammatory. I put some into the oils that I was mixing to massage with people, and I was getting into a lot of trouble when I got to the bottom of the oil because it was all a mass at the bottom. So I learned very quickly that it's not, even if you stir it, it just sinks to the bottom. So it's not great for massaging. But it was great for what he did. He actually used it as a patch. So he put the oils on, and I think he included aloe vera in it as well. Somehow mixed this thing together and then put it on as a patch. And this did have significant impact in terms of reducing pain and also helping people to sleep better. So this was also a good research. But I've adapted it because we're looking at essential oils and massage, and I didn't look at the aloe vera impact of it, and I think he used camphor as well. We don't use camphor, at least I don't. I'm frightened of it, so I stay away from camphor. Okay. And then the last one was this was the most significant one. This had 133 people. So it's in terms of aromatherapy, this was quite a big study, okay? 133 people completed the data. There was a questionnaire monitoring pain and something called a JAMAR grip. So they were taking people's grips, and I had to read about this, but my understanding is that there's some correlation between strength grip and health. I don't know what it is, but I read that there's some correlation there, and that the oils were given to half the participants, and then placebo was given to the others, and they made the oil smell the same, so people couldn't tell which one they were given. And they were asked to apply the oils every 4 hours, and then gradually increase the use. And of the 4 that we've looked at, this was the most statistically significant, I guess, because the numbers were there. But this did have a very good outcome. You know, the pain had been reduced. People were sleeping better. They felt that the oil was really good. But again, they used more than 3 oils, and I actually looked this one up. This is on sale in the States, but it's not on sale here. And then the information online said it wasn't clinically tested. Okay, so it's someone's put it. I think this guy patented it, and he didn't share the oils that he used. So I went through I looked at the chemical makeup of the oils that he's used, and was able to come up with oils that match that. This is the table that I came up with. So of all the oils, I hope you can see that because it's a bit blurred, isn't it? Of all the research that I looked at, here are the oils that were in all of those studies. And so we've got, I loved that rose was there because rose is quite floral. I mean, usually when we're talking about pain, it's all the eucalyptus and the tea trees, and they're my least favourite smells. I don't know about anybody else, and it's not just about smells, but for me, I do love the smells. So for me, it was lovely. Hello.
Which one is the rose there?
Rose Otto. Sorry, can you see? I'm really sorry. It's a bit blurred, isn't it? So right at the top is a Rose Otto. Sorry, I've got I took this from the research paper that I'm handed in as a student. I don't know how to make that. Yeah, so it's Rose Otto because there's 2 types of oil. There's 2 types of roses. Of course you can. Why don't you take it from here? It's much clearer on this one. Do you want to do it at the end? You would do it at the end. Yeah, we'll do it. So it's Rose Otto, geranium because we talked about geranium, Palmarosa. I haven't used that one and I don't know a lot about that one. But I will do. If I come back in a year's time, I'll be an expert on Palmarosa because that's part of the course. Thyme, we've talked about thyme, Eucalyptus globus, and then all the sort of tea tree cousins, tea tree oil and its cousins, Niaouli and Cajiput, and then rosemary. Did anyone know that rosemary's name had changed? It's now regarded as a salvia. Really? Yeah. So because the Royal Horticultural Society, the Kew people said it is. Sorry. But it's apparently it's classed as a salvia now. Okay, so its name's changed. Peppermint, and then the citrus oils. You can have one of them. You don't have to have all of them. But I'm sorry. I've got the Latin name. So that's citrus orange. That's grapefruit, and the sinensis is. Oh, which one's the sinensis? Orange, grapefruit, and I can't remember what the sinensis is. I'll let you know later. But you can choose one of those, and then of course the lavender agosifolia. So what I've effectively tried to do here is, out of 70 oils, I've looked at some studies and said, well, we don't know where to start because 70 oils is a lot, okay? But I've shortlisted it. Let's start with these, okay? If we're experiencing pain, pick out 3 at a time, okay? Dilute them as I've suggested, and give it a go in terms if you're going to do treatments at home. Use the 3 of them at a time and see how you go. Monitor it. Don't change them every week. Use them for a couple of weeks, see how you go, and then change them maybe 1 oil at a time. Okay, but this is a table that I've came up with based on that results. Sorry, did you?
What were you saying about the Royal Horticultural Society and changing its name from a rose?
No, rosemary. is now called Salvia rosmarinus.
Yes.
So it's become part of the salvia family. The name's changed, and I didn't know that. So I don't know if anybody else was aware of that.
It's exactly like sage.
Sorry.
Oh, rose.
Yeah. So they said it's part of the family, and also the chemical makeup's quite similar. Because I looked at that, because I was a bit offended actually, because I fancy myself as an amateur gardener, right? Not going to win any prizes or anything, but I think I know the names, and to find out that this thing had been changed, I wasn't consulted. So I just felt it was a bit of an outrage. But
Sounds a bit posh and Latin to me.
Well, you can still call it rosemary.
Yeah.
It won't mind.
It's all fur coat, no nickel, isn't it, basically?
Now there's no need for that. Right, okay, let's press on. And so I pulled up that research, and I've pulled the table, and I feel it's important to say that the researches that I've shared with you, they of course have their limitations. Okay, the numbers are like really tiny, so that affects what kind of conclusions we can draw. They're really pilot studies, and the study periods are really short. It's difficult to know in some of the instances what actual oils, what variant of the oils they're using. Okay, so we've talked about chemotypes, we've talked about varieties, and I wasn't always certain which ones they were using. And then the varied research methods made it in the quantity sizes, the dosage. It was difficult to really compare the outcomes. Okay, so I just did a sort of overview, really based on, like I say, my sister's circumstances, and as a sort of a budding aromatherapist, about how I can help her on that journey with fibromyalgia. And I'll be very quick. Okay, just one slide on fixed oils. Okay. What are they? They're vegetables oils. I think we all know them. The fixed oils, or some people call them carrier oils because they carry the oils into the skin, but the correct name probably is fatty oils, because they have omegas in them, the omega-6s, the 3s, the 9s, I think, lots of fatty acids that are very good for us and very good for our skin. Some of them have vitamins in. I don't know if they survive, how long they survive once we've opened them, but the key thing is that the fats in them are very good for our skins. And some of them, as we've pointed out, have their own therapeutic values on their own. So there's a lot of research around castor oil. I was raised on castor oil. I never liked the smell of it, but it's one of those ones that is known to be a super oil, of goodness. Yeah.
If you put it, if you heat it.
Oh, you heat it?
Yes, you heat it.
Yeah.
No, perhaps.
Because you lose the loose.
No, perhaps you don't. You put it on wool that flannel.
Yeah.
And then you put a heating, an electric pan on over it for half an hour, a few times a week.
Wow.
And if you've got a tummy problem.
It helps to get rid of it. I actually use it as a cleanser. A facial cleanser, because it's quite sticky, isn't it? So I cleanse with light water, and then put just the castor oil on, and then take it off with a like a cotton pad, and I feel as if I've had a facial. Everything comes off it because it draws impurities out, isn't it? So it's a very good cleanser, and it's natural. Okay, there's nothing added to it unless you add it yourself. So I love it for that reason.
It's called castor oil packing, what you're describing. And
castor oil, yeah.
Breaks down lumps and things.
That's right, yeah, that's right, yeah. And the last thing to mention is macerated oils. I think we touched on it because we've got marigold here. And these are, again, a cold pressed vegetable oils, and they infuse plants in them. I can't remember why they put them in, but I know that there's St. John's wort, and that must have the plant in it, St. John's wort in it, that must make sense. And then there's calendula oil, and that's, I think that's the marigold actually, the calendula oil. So what they do is they put the marigolds in a sunflower oil usually, or there's other oils that they use, usually or almond oil, and they infuse it in there. And then I can't remember the reason why they do that. I think those particular plants are difficult to draw the oils out, so they use it in that way. That's the macerated oils. I think the last thing to say about fixed oils is not to get them confused with mineral oils. Okay, mineral oils are not a natural product. The most famous or well-known one is baby oil. It's a byproduct of the petrochemist industry. So I think it. I mean, when I think about it logically, it doesn't go into the skin. It stays on the skin. And maybe there's a reason for babies, wet babies and so on around their bottoms. But personally, I can't see why you'd put that on your baby. But when there's so many wonderful natural oils out there that we can make use of.
So when you've got like beeswax, beeswax creams, wax oil, lotions really.
Yeah.
Can you sort of add essential oils to them? Because lotions sometimes can be sort of skin.
I add essential oils to lotions and use them myself. I mix them in, so the oil, instead of the oil, the lotion. So put some lotion in a jar, drop a couple of drops in, and I mix them. I do that all the time. I do it with, I tend to use like quite a plain base, like a vitamin E, the white ones, or the aqueous cream. There's another one that I use as a base, and I add the oils. I add the fatty oils to them, and I add the essential oils to them as well, but 3 at a time. So.
Fatty oils, meaning be a carrier? Or, yes.
These ones here. So what I've done is I've just finished, so I hope you can see that. Oh, that's not very good, is it? It's quite blurred. These are some of the fatty oils. So on the left it says dry skin, and then oily skin and anti-inflammatory in the middle. So for the dry, if you've got dry skin, I'm just suggesting here are some of the oils that you can use to help to nourish this dry skin. So it's apricot kernel, argan oil, avocado oil, borage oil, carrot oil. There's a whole load of them. And then the oily side is camellia oil, grapeseed oil, hazelnut, jojoba oil. And you can't see it, but I've put beside them some initials, LV, MV, or HV, and that just means that word there, I've got it there on the side, viscosity, right? So that's about how thick it is and how heavy the oils are, right? So some of them are quite heavy, and that's important again, because when people come for massages, some people just don't want a heavy oil. Okay, so I would tend to use some of the lighter oils like sunflower oil or grapeseed oil, and people like that want lighter oils, but people pitch up with their favourites. But I'm quite happy to share that, okay? And then we have the anti-inflammatories. So the ones that are anti-inflammatory, castor oil isn't on the list because I wouldn't use it for massage, okay? But it's camellia, hazelnut, jojoba, borage rather, and what's that one? Jojoba oil and olive oil, and the last one is sweet almond. And my go-to is sweet almonds, okay? But that's it. I'm quite happy to share this table, and we can share it in the group. People can have a look at what oils they want to have a plate with, and you can mix the oils. The fatty oils. You can mix them. Unlike the essential oils, where we say you're advised to use 3 at a time. With the fatty oils, you can use as many as you want, because you can mix them up. If you wanted to.
Is that a thing in itself?
Sorry.
Is that a?
You can, because if you wanted to do something for your hair, for example, you could focus on the ones that are supposed to be good for hair. You didn't put those together, maybe put some rosemary in it, the right chemotype, and then put that on your hair as a treatment, and then wash it out in the morning. If you wanted to, you've got dry skin, you might want to focus on 1 or 2, mix them up, because they do have slightly different vitamins in them, and also they're different thicknesses. That's okay with the fatty oils. There's no harm there. Okay, go for it with the fatty oils. Go for it with the essential oils, 3 at a time. Okay, and that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes my session.
Very good timing. So,